Hello, my name's Sam Masood and I'm a team leader in the school nursing service. Welcome to our Wellbeing Toolkit for parents and carers. Today we're going to look at things that might impact on our emotional health and some tips and strategies on how you can look after your own health and well-being. So the school nursing service consists of school nurses who are qualified nurses who have had additional training in child health and wellbeing. We also have staff nurses, nursery nurses, clinical support workers, and our admin staff. So we support children and young people from the age of when they enter reception up until their 19th birthday. Um, Young people who have disabilities or additional needs can access our service up until the age of 25 years old. Our service provides support and help on a range of health topics. So it might be around physical health or mental health. This can include sexual health, healthy lifestyles, smoking. Um, and where we can't provide that support, we will always signpost onto other services as well. So we have a single point of access where we have a nurse on duty Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock. You can call us on 01922 423349. We also have a texting service for parents that is a confidential service. It's safe, it's secure, and you can also use it anonymously as well. So if you want to text, you don't want to give your name, but you just want to ask a question around your child's health, some advice, you can just text that in and we will help. Again, if we can't answer that question or we can't, if we can't provide that support within our service, we will always make sure we signpost you onto the correct service, and we will also let you know what support our service can offer. So our texting number is 07520 634 909. So some of you might have heard of the saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. Um, it's basically saying that actually, if you're not in an emotionally well placed yourself, it's very difficult to then support others. So parenting is a tough job, doesn't come with a manual, but it's also one of the most rewarding jobs that you can do. However, if you don't look after yourself, the role of parenting can be a lot more difficult. It's really important that to help support your child's emotional health and well-being, that you are looking after your own emotional health and well-being as well. Those of you that might have been on an aeroplane, when they do the safety, go through the safety checks, and they talk about the oxygen mask, and they always say, make sure that you put on your oxygen mask before you help others. That's the same with parenting, with emotional health and well-being, that before you can help your child, it's very important that you are looking after yourself, looking after your emotional well-being. Self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. You know, sometimes parents, you might not want to make time for yourself because you feel guilty, because you think, actually, I need to look after my child, I need to put all this support in place. But actually, to do that, it's very important that you're emotionally well yourself. So making sure that you are taking some time out to look after your own emotional health and well-being. So the things that can impact on your health and well-being. So life changes, these can be big changes, these can be small changes, they affect us in different ways. So that might be separation from a partner, that might be loss or bereavement of someone, can be moving house, moving schools. A number of things can have an impact on our emotional well-being, which then also have an impact on a child's health and well-being. If your child's having a difficult time, so if they're struggling with school, if they're struggling with some personal circumstances, that can impact on your health and well-being as well. It might be that your child is needing attention because they're going through a difficult time, which then again has an impact on your well-being because you're trying to look after your child. Your job might be having an impact on your emotional well-being, or maybe unemployment is, especially when you're trying to look for a job, which might then lead to financial worries, whether you have a job or not. Sometimes, financial worries can have a big impact on our emotional well-being. Housing problems can cause an impact. You know, whether that, you know, you could be moving house, there might be issues with your housing as well, so that can have a massive impact. Wider and extended family commitments, you know, you might be worried about the health and well-being of a family member. You might be having to provide care for a family member, or a friend, and that can have a massive impact, because actually you're trying to be a parent, you're trying to be a carer as well for, you know, if you are looking after a family member, and then you're looking after yourselves. So it's very important that you are getting that support for yourself. We'll go through some tips and strategies that will help, will be very beneficial, but it's also important to seek advice if you do feel you do need some further support. So what do we mean by emotions and emotional health? So our emotional health and mental health can suffer if we don't look after ourselves. Also, this can have an impact on your physical health because they're both linked. Emotional health is all about how we think and feel. So we experience a range of emotions, you know, happy, angry, sad, anxious, worried. And there's no such thing as a good or bad emotion. It's normal and healthy to experience different emotions. And they also give us a clue about what we need to be doing next. It's your body's way of telling you, you know, you need to do something about this. So it's not the emotion that might be wrong. It's actually the action in response to that emotion that might be wrong. So, for example, sometimes when we get angry, we might say hurtful things or do hurtful things. That's a negative behaviour. So it's not negative to feel angry or sad. However, it's very important that we look at different ways of expressing these emotions. So what we think affects how we feel, which then affects our behaviour. So behaviour is any action that we do. So for example, if sometimes if you're thinking, actually I can't do this anymore, I'm really rubbish at being a parent, you know, I can't cope with my child's behaviour, that can then make you feel anxious. It will make you feel worried and unhappy. Your behaviour or your action might be that you start to notice your different body clues kicking in, so your heart starts racing faster, you might get headaches, you might not be able to sleep, you might react in a negative way to your child or to your friend or family member. However, if we learn to change our thinking into more helpful thinking, it can have a massive impact on the way we feel and then the behaviour that we might display. So if we change that thought into, I can recognise parenting is hard. I always do my best, and I'm going to take each thing step by step. That might make you feel a bit more calmer, a bit more relaxed and happy, a bit more confident, and your behaviour might be that you are able to think more clearly to plan your next steps. Okay, so you might respond in a more positive, solution focused way. So you're thinking of ways and solutions you can deal with the difficult situations. So resilience, emotion, and emotional well-being. Taking steps to look after your well-being can help you deal with the different pressures of our daily lives. It can impact. It can reduce the impact of stress in our life as well. This is called. This is sometimes called developing emotional resilience. So resilience isn't just about your ability to bounce back from a difficult situation, but it's also your capacity to adapt in the face of challenging situations, while still being able to maintain a good emotional well-being. So resilience isn't about, sometimes people think people that are resilient are lucky people. Resilience isn't a personality trait. It's actually something we can all develop in ourselves. We have to take small steps to help build our resilience. So, it is something that each and every one of us can develop with some support. So some top tips to promote emotional well-being and resilience. So evidence suggests there are 5 ways of of things that we can do to improve our health and well-being. We can incorporate these into our daily lives. So you've first of all got connect, because connect is also it is all about connecting with other people. So that might be, meeting up for a coffee, meeting up for a chat. That might be through, at the moment, because of lockdown restrictions, can be through FaceTime, through telephone calls. I know some people do like to text, but sometimes it's important to take a break from social media and connect, actually talking to someone. Um, be active. So as we've mentioned, physical health has a massive impact on your emotional health and vice versa. So maybe going for a walk, um, jogging, it might be cycling, swimming, um, anything that really interests you, because it needs to be based on your interest. So something that you can do to get more active. This might also include walking your child to school, rather than driving, because actually that increases your physical activity, but it also helps you connect, because those are the important times where you might be talking to your child on the way to school about what their day might be like, what they're going to be doing. On the way back from school, it's your time to talk to your child about how their day has been. So you're actually connecting that way. You might also be walking with other parents who you can have a chat to as well. So walking's a good way of getting active if you want to start to take a small step. But there's lots of other things. Find out in your local area, especially after lockdown restrictions are eased, about what is available. There's lots of different classes that you can go to, um, lots of different ways that you can be active. Keep learning. We all know that when we're learning something, it can help build our confidence, gives us something to do. It helps us feel happy, especially something that has been an interest of yours that you want to develop. It might have been an interest from years ago, and you haven't had an opportunity to do it. Finding time now to learn something new, whether that's through online. Sometimes schools provide parents with lots of information about different learning opportunities. It might be a hobby that you want to pick back up again. So there's lots of different ways. It might be just something at home that you want to learn, learning to cook. It might be reading more about certain subjects. So lots of different ways to keep learning that will help build your confidence. Um, as we all know, giving to others is a really good way of promoting our emotional well-being. And we all know when we help someone, it makes you feel really good about yourself. Um, giving isn't about just giving money to charity, but also um, helping someone in a time of need. It might be just smiling at someone, when you're out and about, when you're walking around, when you're out shopping, smiling at someone, because that smile might have made that person's day. If you think about times when we felt a bit down and you've been walking down the street and someone smiles at you or says good morning, it makes you feel quite good. It might be helping a friend out, family members out, um, asking school if they need any support, helping local charities. Lots of different ways you can do to give, because that will help build your emotional resilience and build your self-esteem as well. Take notice. So take notice is all about mindfulness. So mindfulness is all about being in the here and now. When you are out for a walk, noticing the things around you that you don't normally look at. That might be the birds, might be the trees, might be the sky, but using your senses to take those things in around you and focusing on them. Because actually we spend a lot of time worrying about what's happened in the past, we worry about what's to come in the future. And being in the here and now will help you focus a lot more. It will help you relax. It will put things into perspective. Um, and it just helps you recognize and listen to your body clues. So what your body's trying to tell you. So when your body's trying to tell you need to relax, it will help you increase your awareness of the different emotions that you experience, so you can prepare for when you are becoming anxious or worried about something. There's a lot more information about the 5 ways of wellbeing on Mood Zone. So if you go on the nhs.co.uk website and go onto the 5 ways to wellbeing, the website is linked into this PowerPoint as well. It will give you lots of different ways of what you can do to get these 5 ways incorporated into your daily life. It's actually a very helpful tool to do with your family. So you can, as a family, make a list of these things and then give examples of what you can do in each of those 5 things to become more active, to connect more, to be more mindful. It really helps children as well. So looking after your physical health, so we've already mentioned that they're both linked. One can have a positive or negative effect on the other, but looking after your physical well-being will help maintain your emotional well-being. So some tips for physical health. So exercise is a really good way to help promote your physical health and then promote your well-being. We've already talked about it in the 5 ways to well-being, about being more active. Getting plenty of sleep and rest as well. So making sure you get yourself into a routine, you do some things to relax, making sure your body gets time to to switch off and refresh for the next day. So if you are having difficulty sleeping, making sure you're getting support for that, putting a good bedtime routine into place and giving yourself some time to unwind so you can get a good night's sleep. A healthy, balanced diet, that can, the different food we eat has so much impact on our physical well-being, again, which will link into our emotional well-being. So making sure you gain a varied diet every day. You can get further advice on the NHS UK website around if you want to start to improve your diet and your exercise. There are services in Warsaw that you can access as well. So if you go on to the Warsaw council website, it will give you information about local physical activity services as well. It might also be helpful to look at other ways that you can promote your physical health, and that might be through, if you smoke, try to looking at reducing your smoking or quitting. Again, you can get help with the NHS with stop smoking, reducing your alcohol intake if you do drink, because actually that has, alcohol and smoking can have a massive impact, not just on our physical health, but our mental well-being as well. So it's important to help look at ways you can either reduce those things, and or maybe even quit those things if you feel that's more beneficial to your health. But as I've mentioned, making sure you do seek professional help for those things if you do need some further advice and support. So recovery from COVID, as we all know, the past 12 months has been a very challenging time for yourselves, for children, for everybody, across the country and across the world. And recovery from COVID isn't just about recovery from the infection, but it's actually recovery from the whole pandemic. COVID's had a massive impact on people's physical health, where they might have been going out less, exercising less. It's had a massive impact on people's mental health and well-being as well. The good thing is that children are resilient. They will often bounce back once routine of home and school is put back into place after restrictions are lifted. So now with restrictions lifting, I think people are going to start, when restrictions do start to ease, people will look at trying to get back to some form of normality, which can be quite difficult if you are struggling with your emotional health and well-being. But making sure you give yourself and your children time to recover is really, really important. So take some time for yourself. Taking time can be very difficult for parents. It's a common theme that comes across when we talk to parents, is one thing they find hard about parenting is making time for themselves. So it's very important that you look in your daily routine where you can have, it might only be 5-10 minutes, it might be longer than that, but where you can have time to yourself to refresh, gather your thoughts and plan for whatever's coming, for whatever situations are coming your way. Having family time and talking about and reflecting on the changes that have happened over the 12 months. You as a family might be doing things in a different way. School is slightly different at the moment, even with children going back to school. There are still certain rules that they have to follow. Starting to re-establish routines for you and the family. So obviously with lockdown, a lot of routine probably hasn't been as planned as it normally is. So trying to get a routine back into your family lives again. So children have that sense of security as well, and for yourself, so you can start to feel that you can manage and cope with each day. Working with your child's school. So if your child is having a difficult time settling back in, making sure that you are talking to your child's school about helping them to settle back in. Taking time to grieve, if you've had losses over the 12 months, any bereavement, but exploring with your child, with your family, how to celebrate some of the people that you might have lost. It has been a difficult time over the 12 months to grieve for losses, because things have had to be done in a different way. But looking at ways as a family of how, how you can, keep those memories of the people that you have lost, but making sure that you are having that time to grieve. If problems do still persist after a few weeks, then please seek support, whether that's for yourself or whether that's for your child, especially if it's around bereavement and loss. That you might need to access bereavement support services. So please seek support. If it's around your child's emotional health and well-being, contacting our service to see what advice and support that we can offer. Working with professionals. So as we mentioned about how parenting is a challenging role, it can be really important to reach out sometimes for support. In Walsall, we have something called Early Help, which is part of the Walsall Local Authority. So if you are really struggling and you're not managing with your home life with your child, you can seek advice from Early Help. If you go onto the My Walsall website, onto the Early Help section, it will give you some advice and information around how you can access Early Help, and what support there is out there. There's also a wide range of parenting groups that go on in Walsall. So you can go on the My Walsall website under the parenting group section. It will have a list of all the different services that run parenting groups. We also run parenting groups in the Walsall School Nursing Service. So if you are interested, please give us a call, and we can give you some further information about those. If you need to seek further help about your own mental health, it is really important that you see your own GP and talk to them about how you feel, so they can put some support in place. Sometimes the biggest thing that you can do is ask for help, and it's really important that you do seek help when it is needed. In school nursing, we do offer a program after this called the Adult Resilience Program. It's an evidence-based program developed by a psychologist called Dr. Paula Barrett, which it helps adults to build confidence and reduce anxiety and stress. It helps parents to improve skills to cope more effectively with challenging situations, and especially some of the situations that you might come across in daily lives. It helps you to break it down into small steps. So it's a 5-week program. Each session is 2 hours long over the 5 weeks. And some of the skills that we teach in the program are developing an awareness of your feelings, mindfulness and empathy. Sometimes we don't always know what we're feeling because we're so used to getting on with our daily lives. It can be really easy to ignore those emotions. So the Adult Resilience Program really helps you to get in tune with your feelings, to help you identify at an early stage when you're starting to become anxious or stressed. Identifying body clues, so those are the different signs we get when we start to get anxious and stressed. So heart rate, heart is beating faster. You might get headaches, not able to concentrate. You might be quite teary. These are all body clues that we get. So the Adult Resilience Programme will help you identify that. The Adult Resilience Programme is based on the concept of cognitive behaviour therapy, which we call CBT. That's all about how your feelings and your thoughts are linked, and how CBT looks at how you can turn your negative thoughts into positive thoughts. So, all that unhelpful thinking, challenging those thoughts and turning into more positive thoughts to help you manage and cope better with those feelings of anxiety and stress. The programme also looks at role models and building support networks. So again, it's about reaching out and asking for help. Your role models and support networks might be your friends, family members, it might be professionals, but building that support network so you're not alone. And then the Adult Resilience Programme also helps you develop skills around coping with difficult situations. So it's what we look at is exploring solutions and coping step plans. So this is like looking at setting goals for yourself and breaking what seem like big problems into small, manageable steps. So it builds your confidence, because you can see actually you can meet the goal step by step. And it will give you skills on how you can brainstorm and explore different ways of dealing with difficult situations as well. It's a really good programme. We've been running it in Walsall for many years now, and it just helps parents with a toolkit of resources that you can access, that you can use for the rest of your lives. School nursing service is here to advise and support the whole family. So contact our school nursing service on our single point of access. If you want to join our free adult resilience group, please give us a call and we can add your name to the waiting list, and we will invite you when we set dates for the groups. We do have a couple of websites that have some really useful information for parents and children. So we've got healthforkids.co.uk. You will find information about our workshops and our groups on there. We've got Health for Teens as well. So if you've got a teenager, they can access advice themselves around their emotional health and wellbeing and their physical health. We do have a Twitter page if you would like to follow us. It's at School N Walsall. And we also have a school nursing page if you would like to follow Instagram page, and it's School Nursing. Thank you for taking part in this workshop today. If you do have any questions, please give us a call on our single point of access and we'll be more than happy to help. If you're interested in our groups, we will give you that information and we will send you dates when the groups are arranged. Thank you. Bye.